Thank you for that very kind introduction. Wish you all a very good morning. The Indian Administrative Service, the IAS, is the dream career of millions of aspirants in the country. Therefore, at the outset, let me wish you all IAS aspirants the very best in your efforts to join the civil service. My agenda today is as follows. I will begin with a brief introduction to the IAS. I will then describe the format of the exam. Next, I will explore why the CSC is considered so tough and provide some pointers as to how to crack the exam. Then I will speak of the post-entry training. I will move on to how the IAS is a way of life and offer you some takeaways on how to live that life from my own service career of 33 years. Let me begin with a brief introduction to the Indian Administrative Service. Formed in the year 1946, the IAS is the premier of the three All India services, the other two being the Indian Police Service and the Indian Forest Service. There are approximately 5,000 officers in position, though the figure is dynamic. About two-thirds of the IAS are direct recruits, the rest are promotees from state cadres. IAS officers hold office at the pleasure of the President of India. The cadre management is done by the Department of Personnel and Training. At the top of the hierarchy of the IAS is the Cabinet Secretary at the center and the Chief Secretary in the state level, followed by the Secretary, Additional Secretary, Joint Secretary, Director, Deputy Secretary, and Under Secretary. What is the present format of the civil services exams in India? Some details of the exam have undergone changes since my time, but the broad format remains the same. The UPSC, the Union Public Service Commission, is the agency which takes care of the entire recruitment process. Recruitment to 24 services, including the All India Service, that is the IAS, the IPS, and several Group A and Group B central services like the Indian Foreign Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Customs and Income Tax Service, and so on, is conducted via a common examination called the UPSC Civil Services Exam, or CSC for short. The exam is conducted in two stages. Stage 1 is the preliminary examination held in June every year. Results are announced in August. Stage 2 is the mains. The mains in turn has two parts. The written examination held in October every year. Results are announced in January. And the personality test or interview held in March. Final results are usually announced in May. Most candidates take several attempts to crack the exam. General category candidates are allowed 6 attempts. OBC category candidates have 9 attempts, and SC/ST candidates are allowed unlimited attempts till they are 37 years of age. There are several eligibility conditions, including age, which ranges from 32 upwards depending on category, citizenship, which includes some other nations along with India, and education, which is generally an undergraduate degree but includes other qualifications like ICAI, MBBS, and so on. What makes the civil services exam one of the toughest exams in the world, and how can you crack it? Well, the CSC is tough to my mind, chiefly because of the competition. When I wrote the exam in 1987, over 1 lakh candidates appeared and only about 100 made it into the IAS. Second, the exam process itself is long and excruciating. It stretches for over a year, and one sits in the actual exam for 32 hours from the prelims till the interview. So it requires staying power. Third, the content can be wide-ranging and it tests knowledge, aptitude, and attitude. All this makes the CSC daunting for an aspirant. How do you prepare for the CSC? Uphill climb though it is, the civils is not insurmountable. Let me begin with some general tips Then we will move to specific strategies. In my experience, what is most important is hard work. The prelims and mains test your knowledge and analytical skills, so regular and diligent preparation is a must. Maintain regular hours and study every day. These are some pointers to help you. A well formulated strategy. Optimal time management. Familiarity with the optional syllabi. Selection of books. Thorough insight into the question papers. Prepare out short notes of important topics with relevant points and revise them just before the exam. Go through your short notes rigorously. A good sleep. Never go through any book or new topic on the eve of the examination. Do not lose your confidence. Specific strategies for general knowledge, electives, and interview are necessary. For the elective, your preparation within the boundaries of the syllabus should be thorough. It is not enough to have plus 2 level knowledge. An undergraduate level competence may be enough, but master's level will definitely be useful, especially when you face questions which you did not expect. For the general knowledge papers, you must have more than a passing acquaintance with current affairs, international relations, and their implications and repercussions over the period of a year. So television is a no-no. You should read good newspapers and periodicals. At the same time, civil's preparation is not akin to doctoral research. You don't need to have the kind of in-depth knowledge of all scholarship as a PhD demands. What an intelligent and informed citizen knows and understands, that is your study plan. The third stage is the interview. Officially, it is called the personality test, and the objective of the interview is to assess the personal suitability of the candidate for a career in public service by a board of competent and unbiased observers. The test is not only a test of the intellectual qualities of a candidate, but also the social traits and interest in current affairs. It is intended to evaluate the mental caliber of the candidate. Some of the qualities to be judged are mental alertness, critical powers of assimilation, clear and logical exposition, balance of judgment, variety and depth of interest, ability for social cohesion and leadership, and intellectual and moral integrity. The technique of the interview is not that of a strict cross-examination. It's not a court of law, but it is a natural, though directed and purposeful conversation that is intended to reveal the mental qualities of a candidate. It is not intended to test either the specialized or the general knowledge of the candidate, which has already been tested through the written papers. Candidates are expected to have taken an intelligent interest not only in their special subjects of academic study, but also in the events which are happening around them, both within and outside their own state or country, as well as in modern currents of thought and in new discoveries which should rouse the curiosity of all well-educated youth. The interview standards are very high and require thorough preparation as well as commitment. So, in preparation for the interview, don't just read. Also spend some time thinking about what you read. To summarize, the interview guidelines are as follows. The interview tests you for your ideas and opinions. Speak your mind and express your views fearlessly. Practice in mock discussion groups and participate in them actively. Thorough knowledge of your subject helps. If you are working, thorough knowledge of your profession helps too. Knowledge and preparation about your stated hobbies is important. Prepare for situational questions. How you will solve a problem situation. Don't be hyper or interrupt. So, now you are in, the training begins. The Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, or LBS-NAA for short, in Mussoorie is India's premier institution dedicated to training officers of the country's higher civil services. LBS-NAA conducts induction level training to members of the All India Services and Central Services Group A through a common foundation course. Once the FC is over, LBS-NAA conducts induction level and post-entry professional training for officers of the IAS, which includes 1 year in the academy and 1 year district training. Subsequently, LBS-NAA also conducts mid-career training for the IAS. Okay, today we are grappling with the question to be or not to be a civil servant. Will I clear the CSC or will I not? But a few years from today, you would have entered the prestigious pantheon of the IAS. What does being an IAS officer entail? A service officer performs a variety of functions. She handles affairs of government, both the framing and the implementation of policy. Implementation of policies calls for supervision and also traveling to the places of implementation. It also entails disbursement of funds, which calls for personal supervision. IAS officers are answerable to the parliament and the state legislatures. What is significant is that an officer's functions and responsibilities change at different points of her career. At the beginning of her career, she joins the state administration at the subdivisional level as a subdivisional magistrate, looking after law and order, general administration, and development work. At the district level, IAS officers work as district magistrates and district collectors or deputy commissioners. This is a prestigious and visible post with responsibility for district affairs, including implementation of law and order, magistracy, and developmental programs. Officers also serve in the state secretariat or as heads of departments or in public sector undertakings. IAS officers may move from positions at the state government under deputation to the central government and back again. At both the central and state governments, their work involves formulation and implementation of policies. Policy formulation and decision making is done by officers at various levels like the deputy secretary or the joint secretary, who all make their contributions. The final shape to the policy is given or a final decision is taken with the concurrence of the minister concerned or the cabinet, depending on the gravity of the issue. The job of an IAS officer is stressful but satisfying. There is a lot of variety in public interface and contact. The problems are overwhelming, but solutions are possible. You will witness corruption, nepotism, might is right, but you can uphold rule of law. What keeps you going is the love and affection of the people at large. From the moment you are in, what sort of civil servant should I be is the question you will grapple with for the rest of your career. You will hear a lot about integrity, fearlessness, incorruptibility, neutrality, and so on. You will also watch bemused as those who extol those high ideals for you fail to practice what they preach. So, I will speak to you from the corner of pragmatism. We civil servants are practitioners, doers, not philosophers or ideators. So, pragmatism is right up our alley. Having said that, let me gather up some random pragmatic pearls of wisdom to share with you. First, learn to deal with expectations, both your own expectations and the expectations of those around you. Again and again, you will find yourself in situations where you have had little preparation, advice, or support. But you need to deal with the situation then and there. You need to solve the problem. Everyone within and outside the system will be looking up to you for guidance. There will be others who will be just waiting for you to make a mistake. Many years ago, I was posted as Deputy Commissioner of the new district of Udupi. At that time, my Chief Secretary observed, wherever you stand, that is the district. He was sadly prescient. The entire population of the district, politicians, public, the intelligentsia that Udupi is known for, he expected the Deputy Commissioner to wave a magic wand and the new district will magically manifest. Unfortunately, that is not the speed with which the wheels of government turn. There were no precedents. I had to forge my own path. It took time, patience, and effort, a lot of goodwill, and a lot of persuasion. But it was done. It proved to be one of the most fulfilling postings of my career. Second, nothing substitutes for presence. This pithy maxim encapsulates a number of things, so let us dissect it. Shortly after you join a new post, your office will try to house train you. Don't let it. Bring the value add of your newness, your fresh perspective to your work. That is your particular value add. See for yourself. Read for yourself. Listen to advice but decide for yourself. The best way to do this is through fieldwork. In the age of technology, it is very easy to create the illusion of awareness by data collection and data display in the confines of your office. You will also find many offices send you complex computer pyrotechnics, all color-coded and diagrammatic. But when you visit the field, that is a whole different reality. The IAS is one job that gives you the luxury of exploring every nook and corner of your jurisdiction in reasonable comfort. I know many academics who long to have these opportunities. They cannot because they do not have a Gram Sahayak to show them the way or a Tasildar who will see that they are well fed. But you do. So roam your piece of earth and you will learn to love the people you have come here to serve, and you will enhance your own efficiency while doing so. My third point is somewhat contrary to what I said before. I would like you to use technology as much as possible for public service delivery. You are uniquely fortunate in entering the service at the cusp of the old and new India. So you can use the advantages of both. Karnataka has pioneered many technological innovations in public service: Bhumi, Mobile One, e-Mandi, e-procurement, to name just a few. I am sure you will be able to find ways to customize these innovations to your workspace, but also come up with new innovations designed by you. Above all, if you succeed in routinizing technology, making it an ordinary quotidian part of your and your office's daily functions, that will be your greatest contribution. You may enter public service at a time when the system, as well as the environment around you, has become highly politicized. The levels of scrutiny of your professional and personal conduct by the media, the courts, various formal and non-formal watchdog agencies are as never before. In such a milieu, the importance of ethics is doubly important. I spoke of expectations. Keep your own expectations low. I spoke of idealism vis-a-vis pragmatism. Today, good conduct and ethics are not just a function of idealism. They are a pragmatic necessity. Keep yourself clean. Keep your conduct above board, and you will be able to take tough decisions. You may not be able to please everyone, but you need not be shy of being firm. But when you act tough, act right, be well prepared. Proper justification and documentation will protect you. Try to be kind. Everyone around you is facing her own struggles, his own challenges. So even while you speak truth to the powerful and the powerless, be gentle. As my senior said to me so many years ago, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, na bruyat satyam apriyam, priyam cha nanrutam bruyat, isha dharmaha sanatanaha. Speak truth in such a way that it should be pleasing to others. Never speak truth which is unpleasant to others. Never speak untruth which might be pleasant. This is the path of eternal morality, Sanatana Dharma. Thank you. Good luck to all of you. Hope to see you as civil service officers very soon. Thank you all.